welcome to today's video, this morning's recap of the games in the LCK and LPL this morning. If you've followed along, which, I mean, I don't have many views, so this is probably your first video watching me talk about these games. So every morning I intend on recapping the LPL and LCK games, going over the key moments with timestamps nearly around the nearest minute for you to be able to go back and watch the game for the key moments if you don't have time to watch, say, a 38 or 40-minute game. Especially, the 1T1 game this morning was pretty damn boring for the most part. So in instances like that, I hope that this will help you get a recap of the game, a feel for the game, the key parts, if you couldn't watch it, because it happens so early in the morning, if you're in the Americas or you're in even Europe for that matter. So the first match today in the LPL was between Top Esports and Rare Atom. This is a mismatch on paper, and it was a mismatch in the game, in the series, but it was the opposite result from what everybody expected, including myself. I mean, I have Rare Atom, I believe, in my power rankings as one of the worst teams, and Top in my, top 5. So Game 1, it starts off strong for Top. Knight gets a kill level 1. But Rare Atom would answer. Their bot lane with iBoy was able to get a double kill. iBoy, clearly as I wrote here, he is the MVP of this series, which I'll get to in a moment. So Rare Atom emphasizes the macro in the early portions of the game, taking that lead in bot lane to capitalize on getting the Infernal. Top would answer back to get a Mountain, which in the end, I mean, that caused the Soul to be pretty much irrelevant. 17 minutes, Rare Atom was up 4-2 by this point because iBoy had 3 kills. iBoy was doing work, getting the team ahead. Top would answer, though, at 18 minutes with a 4-1 team fight win in mid. Excuse me. Zoom was able to get a double kill. He was able to teleport in, make a difference in that fight. That double kill was able to actually put Top up 6-5 at 20 minutes. However, the issue then became Rare Atom's macro. Like I said, Top taking that Mountain eliminated the Soul, but that didn't stop Rare Atom from getting a Cloud and then later getting to Cloud Soul Point at 31 minutes after taking a Baron in between that. They would take a 2-0 win to get that Baron, and then they're up 6k gold after that. And that, I mean, once that happened, once they got the Cloud Soul Point, they were forcing Top into a corner where Top had to commit one way or the other, which allowed Rare Atom to get another Baron and then end the game with an iBoy double kill. The final score of that game was 14-8. That's significant because if you see here, that's purple for Rare Atom. Obviously, you can read that, but not the little notes. Over time, I hope to be able to actually figure out how to space things better and, write things bigger so you'd be able to kind of read along with me. But these are more so notes for me than for you to be able to read outright. Game 2, Zora, level 1 kill for Rare Atom. Rare Atom gets the Ocean. Rare Atom is up 2-1 and 1k gold at 10 minutes. So game 2, they are ahead early once again. Top would make plays, though, and crawl back into this game in top and mid. However, just like game 1, Rare Atom is emphasizing macro. They get a Cloud Drake. The game ends up being tied, at least on the scoreboard, but these 2 Drakes are becoming a factor. Top would answer. They take the 3rd Drake. They take the Chemtech Drake. They win the fight after. Knight becomes a key, catalyst in Top even having a chance in hell in this game. He hard carried for them, had a double kill in that fight, had a double kill in the next fight along with Leanne. Despite Rare Atom winning that fight, and like I said, Knight getting a double kill, Leanne was able to match it with a double kill of his own. By 20 minutes, it was 9-8 in favor of Top. Knight was 5-0-1, whereas Leanne was 4-1-3. Top then gets the next Drake. So now 4 Drakes are taken. It's 2-2. I mean, all things are relatively even, so it comes down to Baron at 25 minutes. Rare Atom takes that Baron. Top wins the fight afterwards. Zoom, another double kill, 2 double kills in both games, which negated the power play. Rare Atom really couldn't do anything with that power play. 27 minutes, Rare Atom was able to get to Soul Point. That's the only kind of benefit they had from that Baron, was they were able to capitalize on getting Soul Point. They then would ace top afterwards, iBoy getting a triple kill, which nearly ended the game. iBoy and squad rushed down mid, were able to expose the Nexus, and literally it was like a sliver left. Honestly, I thought that the game was over. I mean, I think everybody thought the game was over. But Knight was able to stop them with a double kill, playing hero again. Rare Atom would take another Baron, and then that gave Rare Atom the Chemtech Soul off of that because they had so much pressure. I mean, they were threatening the back door the whole time. And if you see the kill score, it's 22-13 in favor of top. This game here was entirely Rare Atom playing macro, taking advantage of the emphasis they took on Drakes in the early points of the game to force top to have to address the fact that, oh, you're going to take Soul, but you also could take my base. I don't know what to do. The classic backdoor. Rare Atom goes to Baron afterwards, and top can't do anything about it. I mean, the game ends up being backdoored. Rare Atom wins. Rare Atom, starts the season 1-0. Hard to believe. Going into that game, I wouldn't have expected it. Top was disappointing in some areas for sure. They should not have lost this game. The series by no means. Knight still looks fantastic. The second series was also eventful between Ultra Prime and LNG. Ultra Prime played very, very well. I kind of paused there for a second because I really don't know how to explain it. They played a great 2 games in the early games. Their bot lane was able to get ahead in both games. Elk looked really, really good to start this season. It's a name to definitely keep an eye on the rest of the split because, he had a double kill in the early portions of the game. LNG were trying to be aggressive, like Doinb usually is, Tarzan usually is. They failed to dive bot, they failed to dive top, and at 8 minutes, Ultra Prime was up 7-1 and had a large gold lead. It was crazy. Z's or Ziz or whatever in top lane was able to get a double kill, outplay the dive, like on Kennen. He just outplayed it. Like, that's something that you might want to watch in the early portions of the game. See how Ultra Prime was able to get to this big lead. Now, however, LNG started playing macro. They took the Cloud. Ultra Prime then took Chemtech. This middle portion of the game, LNG were slowly getting back into this game. I have LNG comes back here because Tarzan had 4 kills. He had all the team's kills. Tarzan was playing great on Liiv Sin, creating advantages, and being the hard carry that we know Tarzan is. He brought them back. Ultra Prime would take the 3rd Drake in the Infernal, but at 23 minutes, the game became decided. LNG finally took control of this game. They took Baron, aced Ultra Prime. Light had a quadra kill in the fight, and then afterwards, the game was over. LNG was up 7k gold. LNG then would win a team fight in mid 3-1, and then another time they would ace Ultra Prime with Tarzan getting a double kill. I have Tarzan here as the MVP because honestly, he wasn't a huge factor in game 2, but game 1, he was the only reason they won this game because without him, they'd probably lose this game because the early game he had all the kills. His kill participation throughout the whole entire game was outstanding. He played the Liiv Sin perfectly. Game 2, Ultra Prime once again gets out to an early lead. Elk doing work in the bot lane. 10 minutes, Ultra Prime is up 3-1 and 1.5k gold. LNG take the Hex Tech Drake, and then LNG starts, taking over this game. 19-11. LNG is 2-0, so they do win this game. They win a team fight at 11 minutes. Light gets a double kill. Light would do that again a couple minutes later. So Light, between these 2 games, was a big factor in the bot lane. Cleaning up, executing his targets, and taking advantage of his opportunities. LNG would take a mountain. They'd be up 7k gold before 20 minutes, and the game was over. They were beating them without a Baron, without significant advantages, at least when it came to power plays and Drakes and things like that. I mean, sure, they had a Mountain and Hex Tech Drake, but to be up 7k gold before 20 minutes, I mean, the game is pretty much over by that point. LNG goes to Soul Point before 20 minutes. 23 minutes, LNG takes the Baron. Ale would get a triple kill afterwards on Fiora. And, I mean, before the power play was over, the gold lead was 10k. The game was over. I mean, they just pushed 4-2. The end of the game, they won 19-11. I was really surprised by how Ultra Prime played these games. I mean, I was very impressed by the skill within the lanes themselves. Elk was fantastic. Z's, I mean, his outplay in game one. I mean, LNG should have crushed them, and LNG ended up, once they finally got their crap together, especially in game two, they showed what they can do in game two. I mean, really, like, Ultra Prime's going to surprise some people. I think Ultra Prime's going to be better than I expected. I mean, it's only game one, so we kind of have to, go with the flow here. But I am impressed by what Ultra Prime and Rare Adam did today in the LPL. I mean, maybe it'll be a little closer than we thought. So I'm going to change boards, go to my LCK coverage. So I'll be back in a minute. All right, we're back with the next half of my video. I kind of changed the angle of the camera and the lights. I mean, I'm trying a lot of different things. If you see my other videos, I'm progressively, hopefully, getting better. And I'm putting a little bit, I'm learning things as I go along. But you're here for the LCK. So, first pair of teams we had was Liiv SandBox against DRX. This is between two teams that I have in the middle of my power rankings. And it definitely showed up that way. And actually, a lot of things came to fruition that I thought would in this game. At least my preconceived notions of how these teams might look, long term. So, we started off the LCK split with a pause at 7 minutes in the bot lane. Somebody got killed, and their team, the opposition, said there's no way that, they didn't have a problem. It was pretty honorable of Deft, I believe, in that case. I believe it was Deft who was on the, beneficiary end of Envy being, having issues. But nevertheless, pause, chrono braked. They trade kills at 10 minutes. SandBox would get the first Drake of the season, the Mountain. DRX would then go up in kills in gold. Deft was up 1.5k gold by himself in the bot lane. As I expected with DRX this season, that's my preconceived notion that I had, was their bot lane was going to be the strong suit for them, and it was in both games, despite losing 2-0. DRX would then win a team fight 3-0, and Deft now still was 2-0-2 in the mid game. However, similar to how I was talking about earlier with our LPL games, the team that was emphasizing macro was winning. SandBox would take the Hextech Drake. Despite DRX being up 7k gold and 4-2 at 20 minutes, SandBox would take the Ocean and go to Soul Point. Now, all of a sudden, at 25 minutes, it was 4-4, and Dove was 2-0-2. Dove was playing a big role in this game, bringing the team back from the basement, and I mean, because DRX was up big. I mean, there is no reason for them to lose this game. Deft had built up such a lead in the bot lane. However, SandBox would win a team fight for Baron. Envy had a double kill. Envy looked good in this game at moments in team fights. I mean, obviously, I keep saying one-on-one, he struggled, but in team fights, he executed well. SandBox would cut their deficit in half in gold, so they're crawling back into this game. At 32 minutes, they would ace DRX 5-1, Envy and Closer both with double kills, and after that, they were able to take another Baron, and they ended the game. 14-5 win for SandBox. They came back, and, I mean, macro was the difference. And that's why I have Krakow as the MVP. Although I would say Dove is the only reason that they won this game. When you take both games into effect, which I'll get to, Krakow is the MVP. So, game 2, speaking of Krakow, he got first blood right away in mid lane. DRX would answer with a 2v2 kill in bot. Once again, DRX's bot lane, carrying them to, to hopefully a win. I mean, in this case they didn't, but they will be carrying them to wins this season. I think the other the top and mid solo laners are not good enough. Pioshik is solid, but the solo laners are not good enough. LSB would win a fight for Rift Herald, first team fight of the game. Closer had a double kill on Akali in that fight. They would then begin what they did in the previous game. Emphasize macro. Like I just said, they won the team fight for Rift Herald, then they took the Chemtech Drake. They would push their lead, then they took the Hextech Drake. Then next thing you know, they're at Soul Point for an Ocean Soul. Notice, I mean, you probably really can't tell. You can't read the words, but hopefully the coloration is there. I've got green, blue, and blue here. Light blue and a dark blue. There was not much happening on the Rift in terms of fighting at that point. I mean, there were little skirmishes here or there, but there was nothing of significance in terms of confrontation. Yet, SandBox was taking advantage of the vision they had in creating, fear into DRX to be able to get these objectives. DRX would then try and force Baron at 25 minutes. SandBox stole it. They won the team fight 4-0. Krako had a double kill. Once again, that may have been the biggest factor for why Krako gets MVP. I mean, stealing a Baron is a big deal. It's a game-changing thing to do. In this case, they had all the advantages at the time, but it really put a nail in the coffin. They would be up 7k gold after that and take the Ocean Soul with their Baron priority in power play. By 30 minutes, they were up 9-2. Krako was 3-0-5, showing his kill participation. DRX would not go down without swinging. They won a team fight, a couple team fights after that, and they would get a power play of their own. However, in the end, it wouldn't matter. At 38 minutes, they fought for Elder, and SandBox would win that fight 4-0. Dove getting a double kill, and the end result being a 15-7 win for SandBox. Like I said, these two teams are in the middle of the power rankings, and I think I might have said SandBox has the young players that, make you think to yourself, well, maybe there's a chance, these guys could surprise some people and sneak into the top 4, where DRX has problems. They have problems. They're known problems. There's a reason why a lot of these players are cast-offs on their team. Not a lot of players. I just keep emphasizing. I don't want to keep, kicking a dead horse here, but their solo laners are not there. So they're going to have to fix that. Second series, T1 and Kwangdong Freecs. I'm going to call them the Freaks. A freak of freaks, they're the Freaks. This was destruction. T1 completely demolished the Freaks. Game 1 was a slow, methodical, old-school LCK win. Owner had first blood in bot lane. However, I will say, Teddy got the better of Gumayusi inside Game 1's laning phase. Teddy would get a kill in the 2v2. However, the biggest difference between T1 and the Freak spot lanes was definitely in support. I mean, Gumayusi is, a good player, but Keria is a fantastic support, and he solo killed Hoyt, and then T1 took the Hextech Drake. The teams would then trade kills in bot lane again, but T1, similar to SandBox before, they were taking Drakes, and especially like this game, nothing's happening yet. Drakes are being taken. T1 takes the Hextech, takes the Infernal. 20 minutes, the score is only 3-2. I mean, and they're up 1.5k gold. They're only up so much, but their vision and they're just slowly constricting and choking out the Freaks. They go to Ocean Soul Point. It's 5-3 at 25 minutes. Faker has got 2 kills. Then T1 takes the Ocean Soul. Pretty much uncontested. They take the Baron. I mean, the Freaks win the fight afterwards, but T1 takes the Baron. T1 would then take the Elder and ace the Freaks with the Elder. Gumayusi getting a triple kill. I mean, this game was like, it made me think, you're probably not a hockey fan, but it's like a New York Islanders win over the last few years. Like, the Islanders suck this year, but the Islanders just play a slow, methodical, gritty game where they win like by 1 goal, but it doesn't even seem close the whole time. And that's how this was. There's an old school Korean game where macro, they succeed. Game 2 was a lot different. Owner, double kill, gets first blood in bot lane. They dive bot lane. Gumyushi gets a double kill himself in bot lane. This puts T1 up big on the Freecs in the early portions of the game. T1 takes a Cloud Drake. In 11 minutes, now they're up 3K. They're already up more gold by 11 minutes in Game 2 than they were in most of Game 1, even though they completely killed them in Game 1. The Freecs, one moment where it was like, oh, well, maybe. 11 minutes, they had a fight in bot lane where Fate had a double kill on Syndra. I mean, his abilities were amazing. He was very, very good in that moment. That was the only moment the Freecs looked good, Nick, in this series. They got destroyed in this game. 18-4 is no laughing matter. This game was not close. T1 would take the Inferno. They'd win a team fight 4-1. They'd win another team fight. And now at 17 minutes, they're up 10-3, 5K gold, and Gumyushi is 4-0-3 himself. They'd go to Soul Point before 20 minutes, and at 21 minutes, they took the Baron, and that was game. I mean, I'm kind of like, that game was over. It was over. They're up 10K gold. Faker gets a quadra kill in the last little skirmish of the game at 24 minutes to end it. Gumyushi is the MVP. He was dealing a lot of damage in these moments where there weren't any fights necessarily. He was dealing damage, zone control, doing a great job at zone control. And in Game 2, he was a big factor in their lead in the early portions of the game and in the fights in the mid-game areas. So those are the LCK games today. Come back tomorrow for more content. I'm going to be putting up daily videos where I recap the games in LPL and LCK and hopefully LCS and LEC in this format. Hopefully I get better over time and you stick around. If you have any constructive criticism, I'll take it. Watch my other videos. I have an LPL preseason power rankings out, an LCK preseason power rankings out. I'm going to do my LEC today and probably get it up for the end of the day, and then do weekly power rankings. And I'm also working on a patch notes video that I'm going to do where I'm going to try and see who benefits and who may not benefit from the patch. I mean, is this person used this champion in the past? Oh, now it's back in the meta. Or this champion's going to be taken out of the meta now. Who is the player that was relying on that as a crutch? So, thank you for watching, and hopefully come back for more content.